Hi, my name is Daniel Costa, and I've been in the Calexit movement for about 3 years now. I started with Calexit with Marcus, went on to California Coalition, Freedom Coalition, and then later on, now I'm currently with Independent California. I'm one of the founding board members of Independent California, and we all work together, and lately we've talked a lot. We brainstormed with Marcus, and Marcus had thought this for a while, and I had, in conjunction, done the same, but we never talked about it because it was such a controversial topic. And I'm probably going to be the most controversial speaker today because I'm gonna put something new into the conversation that we've never talked about. And so basically what that is, and then I'll elaborate on it, is to build a coalition with red states that already have organizations favoring California independence. So after brainstorming with Marcus, Marcus had a lot of connections with conservatives and talking to them, and I've on my side through all my active protests and all that stuff, had a chance to talk to conservatives. I have many conservative friends, and have been able to put kind of a portfolio of what the conservative mind is. Now, most of us know that, but today my point is not to say and not to state that one side is better than the other. It's not to knock conservatives. It's not to bolster us in our movement. It's to come to an agreement between us and conservatives. And you may be asking right now, how do we do that when we're so divided? We're getting much more divided. We're very polarized in our way. And if I asked any progressive to change their views into a conservative typical view, they would say no way, and the same thing for conservatives. If I were to say, be more progressive, get our views, there'd be no way. Basically, you cannot tell a leopard to shed his spots. So if we come in agreement that we disagree completely, so where is the middle line where we can agree? Well, here is the concept that we're proposing today, is that instead of fighting each other, instead of trying to convince the other side that we're right and the other side vice versa, we agree on one thing. We come to the middle on one thing, is that we want to be out of the United States. California wants to be out of the United States, and the red states want us out. Now, that may be a concept that Californians do not believe because they haven't been exposed to that. But Marcus and I and many of us have been exposed to that mentality. We've read blogs, we've talked to conservatives, and so they're in agreement that it's for their best interest that California leave, so that they may propagate their values without us trying to shove our values down their throat, which really upsets the red states. Californians don't know that because they think, oh yeah, we're going to show the United States how it's done. So this is our values. We can influence the rest of the United States into our views. And they're very irked at that statement that we want to push our values. We're irked that the federal government and the red states want to push their values on us, which we totally disagree, obviously, because we polarize. So the solution being that if we do agree that California is better off being independent, and they agree the same thing, is to work in conjunction with each other and make basically form coalitions between progressives and conservatives that benefit both sides. So now already I just want to state that I'm going to prove later on this concept of being disliked, if not hated, by most of the red states. But right now, as we stand, we have 11 states have representatives saying this message I'm advocating today. One red presidential candidate is saying that. One red Senate candidate. 4 people who are connected to Trump are saying, kick out California now. Conservative TV has conducted interviews on this. Different Southern secessionist organizations have said Calexit is our goal. 25 states with representatives saying this that if we could convince them to approve this concept of working together would make a huge media impact. Then we have Donald Trump tweet that America would be great again without California. This was a tweet that he actually put out. We recognize, and then we recognize that Calexit supporters don't like red state people, but we need to show we can get the votes and we can get together on this. Having said this, the whole concept, this whole new concept, is because we live in desperate times, and that demands desperate and innovative measures to solve this. So the concept that we came with Marcus is that what we've been doing so far hasn't really worked, and we keep on doing the same things and getting the same results. And again, like Einstein said, that's insanity in its meaning. So to not innovate and to not consider other approaches of getting what we're advocating, which is California independence, we have to think outside the box. And this is thinking outside the box. And even though progressives would say, how dare you work? How dare you work with conservatives? They're unworkable and stuff. You're going to the other side. You're going to the dark side and stuff like that. And conservatives probably would say the same thing. Instead of doing that, is to have, and I'm talking a peaceful, because California is a peaceful state. To achieve a peaceful means of independence, we need to stop the rhetoric of saying. Californians have a tendency to say, look at these conservatives, name calling, this, and the other side does the same and stuff, which brings us to nothing but hate, basically. And so we need to stop doing that and saying, yes, we do not agree with you, and they do not agree with us. We agree on that. But we're not going to judge you on that. We acknowledge that. We both acknowledge it. But we acknowledge that also that we agree that we want you out, you want out. So let's work towards those ends. And basically, it's to get organizations that already exist and that have said that they support California exit to grow their bases. And convince their constituents, their people, to come into this philosophy. And we're shooting for like 25 states. We have 11 states that we have connections with already, that we've talked very peacefully with, and that agree to work with us on that. Basically, it's to extend that to more and more states, to more and more people. And the logic behind that is that the people would be able to, the red states would be able to influence Congress into somewhat of a majority to allow that. And the reason this is important is because we've been so far focusing on one thing, is to convince Californians to secede or to become independent. But in the reality, in the legality of it, is that, let's say we do. The Californians go, okay, we vote, yeah, we want to be independent. What then? There were early precedents, I'm not going to go into them much now, but there was White against Texas that set a precedent of saying that there are 2 ways to become independent. One of the first cases to address this, and that's through revolution or through 2/3 consensus of the the states. So we don't want to go the revolution way unless it had to become that extreme. So the other way is to get consensus from the other states. And academics have even thrown in that you wouldn't even need that. You may just need 51%. That's something that needs to be decided by the Supreme Judicial courts eventually. But the fact remains that we need the red states to approve us out California, because California by itself cannot do this legally and peacefully without the consent of majority of the states. So what we're proposing is that in parallel of us building up and convincing Californians for independence, that we do the same work also with conservatives. That way, when we get to a plateau, to the right moment, that we're ready. The red states have a lot of support for Calexit. The progressives have a lot of support for Calexit. Californians do, and we're ready now to go and make it law and start the whole process, the legal process of exiting. So that's basically the theory behind it, and I know it may sound counterintuitive to work with the enemy, if you will, from the other side, and they're taking the same chance on their side. But since we see that we do agree on that, it's a win-win situation for both sides. California feels that it would do better taking care of their affairs. They feel exactly the same way, and we would be able. Basically, we talked about with Marcus. It's like a divorce. We now are at the stage where we're just bickering, arguing, blaming the other side, doing this. Just like at the end of a marriage where you're just fighting all the time, but it solves absolutely nothing until both partners realize that, look, this isn't working anymore. We need to go our separate ways here. And both parties agree with that, which is a process starting now to do that. So basically, we're advocating that this isn't working what we're doing. Both sides are just it's a futile endeavor that both sides are trying to prove their own value and stuff like that, which has gotten us nowhere. So with that being said, I just ask you Californians, conservatives, to be very open-minded to this, and it's a peaceful way to, or another way. It doesn't mean that it takes over other ways of getting independence, but it's another way to see this and to achieve our goals. It doesn't mean it's going to work. We don't know. It's experimental at this point, but that's what we are going to do. And anybody that wants to come on, Californians, conservatives, these panels and stuff, and help us do that. We have contacts with a lot of the conservatives that agree with us. Please do, and please have an open mind to that suggestion. And we need to stop seeing the other side as the dark side and stuff, because they do exactly the same with us, which Californians don't believe. They believe that they're right, that their values should be the values of the land, and the red states couldn't disagree with us more. So just to point out, I just want to finish just to point out and to show the disdain for California. I have one blog of many that I've read over the years and stuff of what conservatives and red states have said about us. And I'd like to read a few. So this is an article that was about independent California.
Not all of them, right?
Huh? No. I'm gonna give you a few. So this is an article saying about independent California. These are bloggers. Oh, please do, please. The sooner California exits, the better. Only if they take New York with them. Let's take California out of the 2016 presidential election. That was before Then we got where do I sign? I live in the South, but I'm all for it. Let them go, but do not give them foreign aid. Um, these are small, short ones. All those Cali liberal electoral votes disappear. Yippee! Um, then let me get the shorter ones. To all Californians, please sign the petition and vote yes in 2018. Then we've got and the let's see the let me give you the most important ones. Give them an area the size of Israel minus the so-called occupied West Bank. These are things. Red carpet to Calexit would mean 50 years of Republican White House. Maybe the next big one will sever the connection. This is words like that. I can go on and go on. There's a ton of them. One of my favorite that I remember is we would gladly pay to have California exit. We should petition Congress. We're willing to give our money to get California out. Okay, so these are the kind of things just to prove to Californians that they are not liked and sometimes worse hated. So anybody from the panel have anything they want to say or?
Let's set the panel first. So Brett and then Al. Okay. Thoughts, feelings?
Well, my name is Brett Pike. I recently stepped down from the California National Party after a one-year term as the political advocacy coordinator for it. And one point that I think we need to keep in mind is that even in California, deep blue California, Donald Trump got 32% of the vote. And if we're going to pursue a Democratic independence initiative, we can't just ignore that block of the voting public. We have to reach out to them. We have to find some kind of common ground. And, I think when people talk about independence, some people talk about, it's an opportunity to create a socialist economy. Some people talk about, a libertarian future. But I think it's important to remember that the conflict and the tension between left and right will still exist in an independent California, but it'll be a tension that will exist within the 40 million citizens of this nation and be a lot more manageable and a lot more reasonable than this debate that now stretches all the way to, it mostly revolves around New York and Washington. And a lot of it is just not germane to the issues that we have here. The issues of homelessness is different here than any place in America. The issue of climate change is more risky here than any place in America. And even the conservatives in California are, I think, different than conservatives in America in
Yes.
that they're more reasonable and less likely to be driven by this kind of interpretation of the Bible that predicts a second coming in an apocalypse. And that's something that I find difficult to deal with. But I think a lot of conservatives in California are more practical as far as coming up with solutions to the problems that face this place. And I think that there's a lot of red states and a lot of conservatives who are on board with the idea of independence and of secession as just as a political theory, more so than progressives are. And so I think they're natural allies of ours in that sense, and that if you want to vote to secede, if you want to go your own way, then you can do that. They think that we have the legal right to do that, and I think that we have the legal right to do that. I don't agree with a wide variety of things that most conservatives believe, but on that point, I think that they can be a natural ally to the movement. And from my perspective, this is a little bit different tack, but one of the main reasons why I support an independent California is because I believe that single-payer healthcare is the obvious move forward from the for-profit system that exists at present. And there's a lot of other good reasons. Immigration is one, climate change is one, but single payer is something that I think the consensus for that exists in California and does not exist in America. And I think that even libertarians see that the current system, where in order to have health insurance, it has to be tied to your job, is a incredible distortion of the free market. If you have health insurance, you're not going to change your job to go into some new field that may or may not have health insurance for you and your family. And so separating these two and saying, okay, supplying health insurance is a valid role of government is something that I think an increasing number of libertarians are on board with, and I think that's something that we can work with as this dialogue goes forward.
Cool. Al,
What's that?
you want to say?
Actually, there's 2 points that I think we should make, and Dan brushed by them quickly. But one is that this is for a peaceful independent California. For us to leave peacefully, we need the states to basically ratify our independence.
Yeah.
We need this. So this isn't technically controversial.
No.
It's the red states who are going to vote us out. They have the majority. There are more red states than blue. If we were to rely on blue states to vote us out, one, we would be less likely to get them to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The second problem with that is, how are we going to reach them? How are we going to reach them?
Mm.
The red states feel that we are a threat to their culture.
Yep.
They feel we're a direct threat to their way of life. We'd be doing great if not for California. California's holding us up. California's stopping us from having, 1969 Mustangs on our roads again, and all the guns we can carry. They want us out. This is a much easier lift, and it's something that has to happen. We have to do it. So we need this as part of an all-in strategy. This is an all-in strategy. We need to basically explore every aspect that we have to move forward.
Yeah.
This may not work.
Yes. Exactly.
This may not work. But everything we do, and everybody needs to remember this, everything we do increases the awareness of this.
Mm-hmm.
It increases that awareness. It moves us down the road. It gets more people talking about it. And if they're talking about it, it's much easier for us to convince them.
Very good. Well said.
I get that people in California specifically, don't like red states, don't like people who are hardcore Trump supporters. I get that. But again, if we're going to say that we're a peaceful movement, we have to at least show an effort to do that. One of the things that I found, in my personal opinion, we got really big when Trump got elected in 2016. Really big. A lot of people were talking about it.
Yeah.
Every single newspaper would bring out a professor of law who goes, "You'll never get the votes. Daydream, moving on, don't pay attention to this, you'll never get the votes, they'll never let you go, moving on." And it was a professor of law. And I kept thinking to myself, did you actually talk to anybody in the conservative states?
Yeah.
I bet you didn't. Did the news agency spend any time talking to the conservative states? No, I bet they didn't. But it didn't matter because it was TV news, NBC, ABC, CBS, and they had a professor on who says you'll never get the vote. End of story. Californians don't need to think about this twice at all. We have to obliterate that idea. We have to get so many people in red states saying, get the hell out.
Yep.
That no professor in California would dare say, oh, you can't get the votes, because they would be laughed at by their colleagues, and every newspaper in California will have to admit, well, they hate us.
Yeah.
And we could get the votes. Now, if you don't like Calexit, okay, you're not going to get the military, the dollar, okay, fine. But stop with this, you can't get the votes garbage. That is not true. The California media lied and misled the public, and many professors were in on it. We, as citizens, are going to have to do some journalism and actually talk to conservatives and find out the truth. And I got to tell you, we have 11 states now. You know, we had 3, and we already got a newspaper article in Oregon Live. Then we got up to 11, and One America News Network, which is Trump's favorite network now, had a show with us. And then Wayne Allen Root said, yeah, go ahead and pursue Calexit. Go ahead. I hate you, California. Get the hell out. Well, Trump just saluted him on a tweet 2 weeks ago. And then Sean Spicer and a guy who's connected to Bannon 2 weeks ago said, let's kick out California on Twitter. This is not hard. These people are ready. They just don't know that they think we wouldn't leave because all they see on the news is California saying we want to force our will on you. They don't know there's actually movement here. They don't know it's 32% we're for it. And they certainly damn well don't know, because the California news will not admit this, ever. It was 47.5. Reuters and Stanford, January 2017. Stanford University and Reuters, January 2017, both said 47.5% of Californians were open to having this discussion. They did not say no. The news simply says 1/3 for it. You know what that means? 2/3 against it. That's a lie. That is a straight up lie. Reuters said no, it was half was against it, and basically half said, tell me more. Well, what if we get it back on the news saying, hey folks, if you simply asked to leave, you could go. This thing's re-energized. It is a lie by the news and a lie by professors we can't get these votes, and it is perpetuated to keep us down.
Yeah.
I'm not bowing down to cheating and lies. Yes, Shankar.
Sorry, man.
I just want to, right before your question, Shankar, just want to address real quick one point that I wanted to make also on that is that the red state coalitions are, when we say there's 11 states, they are not coordinated with each other. They don't know about each other from other states that have their same views. So one of our big mission with Marcus is to get them in touch with each other. Like saying, you know what, you feel this way, but you know what, there's another 10 groups that feel the same way. So if you guys contact other states like you and stuff, then you can have a bigger coalition. And so we want to get them to acknowledge they're very unorganized right now. They're starting out. Not that we're that much more organized in the independent California and stuff, because we have so many different organizations and stuff. So I think we're both like starting from scratch, but the whole thing is to get them the connections that say, hey, look, the other people think like that in other red states, and grow their organization while we're growing ours the same way, and get people on board on our side, which is not a given at any time. So I just wanted to make that point. Shankar, go on.
Okay, so first of all, guys, utmost respect to everybody up on the panel there. Do this. I'm not going to stop you. I'm going to help you. You guys need help from me or whatever. You count us in this all the way, because we can't close any avenues towards this.
Right.
Now, in saying that, I kind of just disagree with this whole concept, because I don't place one iota of trust in Trump conservatives, especially from red states. Now, why do I say that? Because it seems like you're banking on their stupidity for this to happen, in that California loses about 60, 70, 80, $100 billion a year.
Yes.
That money goes directly to these red states, and you're banking on the fact that they're willing to say goodbye to billions of dollars in funds that they maybe deny that they get, or maybe just refuse to acknowledge that they get, or just maybe their leaders haven't told them that they get this money. You're counting on the fact that they're going to just ignore the fact that they get billions of dollars. Mississippi, $1 billion 2 years ago for their healthcare from us directly. Ignore $1 billion and say, yeah, we're going to be California, hey, goodbye. So you may convince the constituency, but how are you going to convince their, actually, are you calling them out? Are you calling them out and saying, hey, senators, governors, tell your constituency how much money we give you and how much help California really is to you? What exactly, how are you going to battle this?
I'd like to.
For the first half of that.
I'd like to answer that. First, you made 3 points.
I wouldn't bank on their stupidity. I'm going to bank on their anger. I'm going to bank on their anger. Because so far, to be perfectly honest, their stupidity is unreliable.
Exactly.
But their anger is not unreliable. These are These are the people who put people in cages, who put kids in cages. You know, despite the fact that our farmers are losing, billions of dollars. But they love their cruelty. I'm willing to bank on their anger and their cruelty.
Okay,
Sorry, Daniel.
so Shankar, you just kind of you proved my point. Basically, is your view is exactly their view of how can we trust these people? How can we trust? And they're saying exactly the same thing. How can we trust these Californians and stuff? They're not reliable. And that's exactly as far as this concept goes. That's exactly what we cannot do. And name call the other person and this and that like that. That's the typical view. What you just showed and thinking outside the box. We got to get away from that view at least to try this concept out. Stuff. It may not work or anything. The second point that you made that they know that the constituents or the people know that we're banking for the red states. They have no idea whatsoever. They think we're draining them from their money because we're liberals. We waste money. We do this and stuff. So for them, that's their view right now. Now, as far as Congress, all that stuff, our hopes is that the people will urge Congress to get us out and do it. Congress is a whole other story, like you said.
Congress tells them, like, hey,
Yeah.
get this money from them.
Yeah, and Congress is not going to want to let go of us that. But this is where I'm banking, like Hal said,
But it's a circular argument.
with the anger. I'm banking with the anger and things that and already people officials have put their foot in their mouths. I've said we want California out and stuff. And so if the people, the red states, pressure their leaders to say things like, oh yeah, California, that, and they can't come back from that. They can't come back when they make a statement. Donald Trump cannot come back from we'd be better off without California and go, oh no, well, you know what? Come to think of it, they gave $100 million this and that. So we're trying to like catch them in a trap of their own doing. Yeah.
What are you gonna?
No, well, there's a circular argument here that goes. My apologies, Dan.
No, go for it.
The
That's it.
circular argument goes, well, these red states that get $1 billion from California, $2 billion from California, I can see them forgetting about this because I'm watching my fellow Californians forget about the fact that they're costing us $60 billion a year. We can't convince them
Yeah.
that leaving the United States would be beneficial to our own people,
Yeah.
and the amount of money that's being left on the table to our people is a mountain.
Yeah.
It's a mountain of money.
Yeah.
To say that the people in Alabama, which is better, their greed or their hate? Do they love us more for a few million dollars, or do they hate us enough to ignore it?
Good point.
We can't get our own people to recognize
That's a good point.
to recognize the value of the money that we're leaving on the table.
If I could add one.
Okay, go ahead. And then Matt and then Hannah.
So just briefly, I think there's a moral component to this anger that I think is going to be more important than the financial component to a lot of people. Whether it's the perspective on immigration, the perspective on abortion, the perspective on the death penalty, these foreign wars. Yes, the numbers are there, but the other side feels so strongly about these matters of life and death that comes from I don't know if it's a deeper sense than the economic sense, but that there's a moral character to it that I think is more important for a lot of people.
Sure.
They feel it's a matter of their cultural survival.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
really where they're at. They feel it's their cultural survival. They feel we are a direct threat to their cultural survival.
Yes. Matt, go.
Well, I think there's a sharp distinction that needs to be made between the reactionaries in the red states that may want us out, and the reactionaries here in California who
Still want us in?
don't want California to become what we want it to become. And they're going to fight us. They're already fighting us. We're fighting them. Of course we are. Okay? So I can very easily see, as Trump, draws the international border between us and them with his Sharpie, that they're going to start
Yeah, it's exactly what we are shooting for, you know.
It would be like the India-Pakistan border, but hopefully without the massacre.
Right.
Cultural prisoners.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
If I could
Okay.
throw something in, just a couple facts. So the question is, red state people love the idea, but their politicians in DC know how much America's going to lose, and they'll never let it go.
Right.
Exhibit number A, Donald Trump. The Republican establishment did not want him in there. You have both Bushes voting for Clinton and saying it publicly. That was very clearly the Republican Party establishment saying, not this guy. Well, you tell me, did he back down? Did the voters vote for him and do the opposite of what the Republican leaders did? Yeah. They don't care, and they will force them. So we literally saw that this year. Exhibit number B, Georgia. Hey, you're going to ban the ability to get abortions? We're going to pull all Hollywood out of there. You know what they're saying? I don't care. I'd rather lose my job. Go ahead and make our economy go into a recession.
Exactly.
You're not going to tell me what to do. I don't give a damn. That's right now. Exhibit number C, farmers in California in the valley. Hey, they took all the undocumented. I noticed those nuts are rotting in your field. Is that $1 or $50 million in losses? I don't give a damn. Donald Trump's doing the right thing. We can't have these illegals here. So I just constantly see conservatives talk about it's money, money, money until it comes to culture.
Right.
And then they're like, I don't give a damn. I'll go. And
So you're banking on their stupidity.
I'm banking on their A, ignorant, B,
P.T. Barnum, Dave.
and B, that they also, when it comes down to a cultural issue, they're willing to go to war and have their face blown off and a leg missing, lose their guts, because it was the right war and it was the right thing to do, and I fought the right cause, damn it.
Good point.
That's
Good
how
point.
they view things.
Yeah.
I have family in Texas and Virginia, okay? That's how they view it, is you're not going to threaten my culture, and if
Right.
I have to be unemployed and lose money and this and that, Obamacare.
Yeah.
There was people who were having life-threatening conditions taken care of, and they go, I don't want that blank, blank, blank Obamacare. Go ahead and take away my ability to walk.
Yeah. I don't want to be one of those welfare Californians,
Dude,
you know.
we've seen, it's, I don't know if it's a stupidity thing, but certainly ignorant on money, but I think it's a cultural thing. They would rather be chopped in half and boiled alive and then have their culture threatened. And we are going to bet on that. And I got to tell you, they absolutely view California as a threat to their culture.
Yeah.
Who's coming up with all the super liberal ideas? It's always somebody from California. I talk to these conservatives. They hate Pelosi. They hate Maxine Waters.
Oh yeah.
They hate Adam Schiff. They hate,
They know who all are.
it's basically they have AOC for all of America and then a cast of 9 people for California. That if you talk to them, so one person in all of America pisses them off as 9 people from one state.
Yeah.
They're already like, Jesus, you guys gotta go.
Yeah.
You're destroying us. And then when we talk about how they think, because Trump put it out there, well, I only lost the popular vote because of California. If California's gone, they think they're going to win every single election ever. I have tried to explain to them that the seats are distributed based upon population, and Florida is swing. Texas is going blue. No, I didn't hear that. I heard Florida's permanently red. Texas is permanently red. We're going to. So if that's what they want to think, let them think it.
Did you ever ask them if these red states that you've been talking to, how much taxes they pay and what they receive in federal funds? Do they know?
I told them that, and they outright rejected it.
Yes.
I gave them citations, and the email, they threw it away and found some article from Fox News and put it up.
We're talking about people who notoriously, for decade after decade after decade, vote against their best interests.
Yes.
Vote
Yes.
against their best
And they
interests.
were college educated. The people I talked to had bachelor's degrees and were not dummies. That's why I use the word ignorant. They're not stupid. They're just, they're not going to believe.
No.
If Jesus showed up and said, no, California's a donor state, they will still never believe it. Won't matter. Ronald Reagan could come back from to life and
And
go,
tell them this shit.
actually, California's a donor state, and they would go, no, I don't
Yeah.
know, there's something, no, I don't.
You fixed Reagan.
There's not,
yeah,
they won't
yeah.
get it ever.
Yeah, that's what we're
So
betting
why are we
for.
trying to educate these people? You
No,
want us out, you can't be helped, you can't learn, fine, vote us out,
Yeah.
do whatever you want on your crazy
So you're
island.
banking on the stupidity, man. That's good.
Ignorance.
Well,
You know what? I back this
Ignorant.
up all the way.
It's
I
Ignorant.
didn't know that was the.
Well, my way of thinking, it's the Napoleonic quote that goes, "Never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake."
yeah, exactly. Yes, I love that quote. I love that quote. Go ahead, Hannah.
Around because I want to point out that some of the things that you talked about, seems to me, some of the things you've been talking about healthcare, for instance, something like that. You got to remember the people we're talking about oppose that kind of federal spending.
Yeah.
So to them, getting rid of Obamacare because there's no financial support for it anymore because California is out is like, and the problem with that is, they would not understand. And the other point, and then another point we mentioned is their media constantly presents the idea that a state like California, where minority people have equal rights and have a voice in the government and a major effect in the culture and society, is going to hell, going down the drain.
Yeah.
Has to be, right? Thank you so much. And that's the real reason why they'll say, oh, well, if California succeeds, they'll be back.
Yeah, right.
Because
They believe that.
It
Yeah,
would have to go down the drain, and
Yeah.
that we're apparently stupid, and they're banking on our stupidity, if you will.
yeah,
So I just want to make those, maybe the last one I make was, you mentioned the culture, and I keep thinking of what those League of Confederate Veterans and Sons of Confederate Veterans will say, is we were fighting for our culture, our way of life. The Civil War was based, in their view, on not slavery, but something broad called culture or values or something.
States' rights.
yeah.
States'
We
rights.
have 3
Scary, though.
Confederate website groups, Stonewall Jackson, the president of the League of the South.
Oh my gosh.
There was an article by the Kennedy brothers who wrote one of the most well-known books on how the North is horrible and stuff. So we've been at this for a few weeks. We have 3 different well-known established Southern Confederacy groups going, yeah, kick out California to save America.
Yeah.
Save America.
To
Yeah.
save America, kick out California, and yeah, we're
And
ex-Confederates.
send it to them so they can sign it and
Yeah.
send it
Just
back.
and
so you can
think
mail it
about
to
that.
their
You have this group
Yeah.
going, we fought to leave the Union, but now we're scared that California is going to mess up the Union, and we want to save the Union. And even though we were against the Union because we hate California so much,
Yeah,
think of the level of hate it takes to generate that much enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Hand this to them on a platter so they just.
That's
But we
why
did.
we're bringing this up to ask for
Just
backup.
give them a letter then.
we did, and I just want to extend the thought that Hannah just had and Shankar on the fact that, and it's not about ignorance. It's about not wanting to see the facts. That you tell them the facts. Look, we could have this argument and go, we're the 5th largest economy. Do you know what that means? Do you know how much we contribute to the United States? They'll go, no, you're not. No, you're not contributing anything. You're a welfare state. You're sucking all your immigrants are sucking our money out. But we're the 5th largest economy, and then they're going to go, no, you're going to meet your demise because you're going to come back running to us, and so it doesn't matter what facts you give them, they'll say no. Just like Trump says, it's fake news. For them, it's fake news. 5th economy, fake news. Who said that? Who said that? You know what I'm saying? So once you can say it's fake, everything is fake news, then you can dismiss any type of facts, and which is the model of Trump. He dismisses any type of facts,
Fox News.
and Fox News and stuff like that. So
Remember, it's Fox News that they were presenting a legal protest in Madison, Wisconsin. They needed they wanted to present that there was violence going on.
No.
So they ran some old video from Sacramento, and even though they didn't even try to edit out the palm trees in the background. So now there are palm trees in Madison, Wisconsin.
yeah. So okay, thank you, everyone. I'm going to have to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.